Hello everyone, happy you could be here. Let's dive in. Sit at My Grave, Season 3, Ego's Death, Chapter 25. Arden was tired, hardly able to get any sleep lately. He couldn't tell if that figure waking him had been something to harm him, or a figment of his own guilt corroding his sanity. Devastated after having to get a personal look into his brother's past and how harshly he'd been abused. That was only one moment, and Arden felt broken just seeing it. Couldn't imagine living it. Even with the want to just sit and mourn his brother, reflect on everything, and hide away, he knew he didn't deserve it. It disturbed everyone else's peace. How dare he crave it for himself? As Arden stood there, feeling the eyes on him, questioning his outburst at this stranger, it was like he got snapped back to reality, out of his head, the burning feeling fading away just as suddenly as it had creeped in. Emil was staring at him too, worry carved into his features. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Before speaking, Emil gave a little wave and nod to security, letting them know he was okay. I have to see my family. I didn't come all this way to disappoint them. I don't know what this trip means for you, but I advise you to be careful. Emil started. He leaned in closer to Arden, adjusting his glasses. I can't guarantee you'll find out more about that book of yours, but if you go to the town of Rama and ask the older folk about the Neelys, you'll get something. If you do find people from that family, I don't recommend you ask them about all that stuff, however. You might not get the best reactions. Emil's voice got stern and quiet as he spoke to Arden. It wasn't clear he knew what Arden was finding out for himself, but he definitely had some mixed feelings about the whole ordeal. He didn't have to sink in as deep as he was going to trust the apprehension he got. Arden swallowed stiffly. He gave a nod, a bit taken aback for the way Emil's mood shifted. Emil nodded back. He turned to grab his carry-on with one hand, keeping the other on his cane, ready to walk out. If Edvin's still around, let him know his old friend Emil says we should catch up soon, Emil said, pausing for a moment. Arden just eyed him, while Emil gave him a little smirk before he made his way outside. Arden collected himself after a moment. His mind was elsewhere as he gathered his own luggage. He felt a few eyes still on him as he left the building. He knew his outburst looked strange, but was in no mood to explain himself. Besides, he didn't owe these strangers anything anyways. He left the airport. Immediately, things looked and sounded different. The building's architecture seemed more rustic than what he was used to. Every conversation around him since getting off the plane seemed odd. They were speaking their own language. Arden had felt isolated before, but now, being on foreign soil, he felt even more out of place. Arden took in a deep breath, letting it out. He noticed the chill in the air. It wasn't anything he wasn't somewhat used to, though. The time was throwing him off, along with all the signs he could barely read. He could study the language, but being there and having to read it just to get around was a lot different from studying in the lecture in his grandma's living room. Again, he had to shake out thinking of his own ease and comfort. He was here for answers. He'd given up too much to feel this nervous about being here now. For all he knew, regardless of how this went, he didn't have much to fall back on. He wasn't very useful to any of his family, and on top of that, he argued with just about everyone back home. Thinking about how much Reed had done for everyone, how he kept them together, he couldn't help but look at his own reflection in the glass as he passed buildings. He looked so tired. He just began and he was already so tired. Reed had been beaten, yelled at, hurt, yet he was somehow there for everyone. As soon as he was gone, one thing just dominoed after the other. He didn't hold a candle. Arden stopped by what looked like a cafe. He walked in cautiously. So far, people seemed friendly. The smiles on their faces showed it, despite him not being able to understand what they were saying. We were made to feel like a worthless mistake, while doing so much. Everyone around me let me see myself through rose-tinted glasses, Arden thought bitterly. He felt so safe and happy at home growing up. He didn't even feel like he could dwell on the times he was upset back then. Things weren't perfect in every aspect of his life, but he never had much of a reason to feel fearful at home. He was more thankful for his childhood now. He hated that he was lied to, but he could recognize the lies came with protection. He was grateful, but felt disgusted with it at the same time. He was allowed to be upset at kid stuff, small things that felt so big to him then, while Reed was forced to burden things even the adults in the house were scared of. By the time Arden realized he was at the front of the counter, the cashier waiting to take his order was looking at him oddly. Once Arden shook out of it, a look of concern melted from his face. He smiled at Arden. Chipperly, he asked him a question. Arden could only make out that he said hello. Of course he guessed. He must have been asking him about his order. Brokenly, Arden tried ordering himself a small coffee, along with a breakfast sandwich that consisted of rye bread, cheese, butter, cold cut, and a cucumber. He thankfully thought to get himself this heiress currency. He had exchanged all of what he had. He wasn't even that used to using a bank, despite having one set up for him as an adolescent. After he'd gotten his food, Arden sat at a table alone by the window. He took slow, steady sips from his coffee while he gazed out at the world around him. His eyebrows furrowed. He had to eat, but he wasn't going to waste time. As long as he had a moment to sit, he would also use it for studying. Arden took out his journal, placing it on the table, along with his laptop. Besides his personal thoughts on his journey so far, he also began scribbling down what he'd learned as of late. Adeline Maledictio had been in this place before, and apparently a family called the Neelys were the ones who had it before he did years ago. Arden frowned gently, twirling his pen between his fingers as he thought. The book, Josiah, and the knife all correlated. He had no idea if Josiah knew exactly where the knife was and wasn't telling him, or if he also didn't know. The only real lead he had was from what Emil told him and what he pieced together himself. If he found out more about where the book had been, maybe that's where he'd find the knife. So his first destination was to go to Roma and speak with the Neelys about it. Arden closed his book up just as he finished the last bits of his breakfast. He looked up how to get to his destination and finished writing his personal notes. Now it was time to get moving. Just hold on a little longer, Reed. Someone's finally coming to your rescue this time. Arden thought to himself before making his way out the door. His bell ringing behind him as he closed.